has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
All right, get the SportsGrid app on iOS or Android. It's free. You're going to love it. You can watch the network, listen to the network. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't turn someone on to the SportsGrid app. And most people are inclined to get it once I tell them it's free. And then I say, click live, then click watch, or click listen. If you're in your car, I said click listen so you don't wreck. It's easy to be distracted by Carver High and Ferrall's good looks. Also, make sure you check us out on X. We're streaming. Go to SportsGrid-Live. It's amazing technology. Also, get the Ferrall Coast to Coast and Ferrall on a Bench podcast Monday through Friday, available on Apple and iTunes. And tonight's lineup on SportsGrid TV at 6 p.m. Eastern after this very show, it's GTD, Game Time Decisions with the Kevin Walsh. And then at 8 Eastern till 10, it's In-Game Live with my boy Scott Wetzel, Opposite Picks, and the sportsbook consigliere himself, Dave Sharapan, on In-Game Live tonight, 8 to 10 East. And then 10 to midnight at Sports Rage with Gabe Morency and the Prime Minister, Cam Stewart, live in Toronto. And on SportsGrid Radio at 8 p.m. till 10, it's Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid TV and SportsGrid Radio. The only things you should listen to, we recommend double earbuds. Like you use like a AirPod in one and a Beats in the other, and you're good to go. And you can watch and listen with one and then listen with the other. And then you get all of it, and then everybody's happy. So we go into hour two. I just wanted to say this. The end of the Notre Dame Pitt game was so butchered by the refs that it was like Sam the Butcher. I mean, they were down shaving. It was shaved chip beef down at Isley's Deli in Pittsburgh. The way they butchered the end of this game. So the kid from Notre Dame comes down on the wing, shoots a terrible chuck jumper with two guys in his face. Nobody touched him. The ball clanks off the rim. Notre Dame gets the rebound. Guy goes up and misses the shot, the bunny, and then the ref calls the foul as time expired. No one touched him either. It was a terrible call with no time left. The kid went to the line, made one free throw, game over. You wonder why the Pitt players were crying, because the refs just said, F you to Pitt. I mean, just F you, go get on your bus and go home. What a terrible call at the end of the first game in the ACC tournament. The three amigos butchered it. I mean, the guy under the basket, I mean, he is chip beef at Isley's. My man was down there slicing ham down at the deli. My man, it's Sam the Butcher. And I think he was sleeping with some chick named Alice. She was a maid up in the hills. I'm telling you, Sam the Butcher getting involved, Carver High.
Can't have it. That's for sure. Look, I thought it was a bad
you
call.
Loved it. You had Notre Dame on the ticket.
I had Notre Dame, so
no
whatever.
Mercy. By the way, I watched all the Cobra Kais.
Oh, man, I haven't watched any of them. I haven't watched the last 5 yet, so I got to watch the last 5. I haven't finished it yet. I have to finish the last 5.
It's just fantastic. So. It's the worst show I've ever seen in my life, and I've loved it better than any show I've ever seen. Now I'm on to Severance, Season 1, Apple TV. Come on.
All right, let me get through this NFL so we can start the college rack. Colts signed Daniel Jones, 1-year deal. It's worth $14 million. He will compete with Anthony Richardson, who allegedly won't pursue a trade. He's willing to battle. God, I hope so. He can't beat Daniel Jones in training camp. I mean, come on. So we'll see if DJ can get back into the starters scene. Zach Wilson, he moves around a lot now. Now he'll be with the Dolphins next year. 1 year, $6 million. Now, let me ask you this. The Dolphins, what have they needed more than anything else the last few years? Like, they got a quarterback who's, as you always say, peanut brittle. He can get hurt and be out for a long time. The team completely sucks when he doesn't play. Backup quarterback should have been their number 1A priority. And they signed this guy? This
Well,
was
listen,
the answer?
I'm going to be really frank here and get down to business. My man already gets a lot of chicks, but down in South Florida with the tan that he's going to have, and when he starts playing football, he's going to have an array of chicks lined up to sleep with him like no other. He already scores them left and right. Imagine him with a tan living on South Beach and playing for the Finns and getting playing time because Peanut Brittle's always getting injured. I mean, I think Zach Wilson's smarter than everybody thinks he is. And, he didn't actually, let's face facts, he did better than Aaron Rodgers with the Jets. You can cut it any way you want. He did. And then he wasn't that bad in Denver either. Look, the guy's a legit backup, serviceable, and the women love it. I remember Kathy O. She was like $1.05 when she passed, outlived 9 popes. She said right in front of the fireplace she wanted to sleep with him, right in front of it. And when she was like 98, she said, "I want to sleep with him." Boom, Granny. And she sparked up a doobie too, right when she said it. "Get me that guy, bring him over here. I'm going to sleep with him." That's what she said to me. I'm not even kidding. So she liked that Danny Dimes too. She thought he was cute. I'm not into him either, but neither one of them can play. But he's going to score chicks in Florida. Count on that. That's all that matters at the end of the day because the Dolphins don't win.
No, they don't. Josh Dobbs to the Patriots 2-year deal. The Colts sign, as we mentioned, Niners cornerback Travarius Ward, 3 years, $60 million. Giants signed former Dallas defensive end Chauncey Golston, 3 years, $19.5. Mac Hollins leaves the Bills. He goes to New England. Yeah, 2 years, $8.4 million. Justin Watson leaves Kansas City.
Were you about to have one right there?
I held it down, though. We kept moving. Texans signed former Chiefs wide receiver Justin Watson. The trade today, Eagles trade C.J. Gardner-Johnson to the Texans for offensive lineman Kenyon Green. Little puzzling. He's such a big part of their D, leader out there. He was with the team. They won, and then they made the Super Bowl. He left. They didn't make the Super Bowl. He comes back. They go and win the Super Bowl. Seemed like a big part of the locker room and the team. Kind of makes you scratch your head a little bit.
Yeah, they get rid of him. They get rid of Slay. I don't get it. But look, I don't question Howie.
No. Hard to question Howie. Re-signs. These guys go back to their own team. Vikings, Byron Murphy, 3 for $66. Saints bring Chase Young back, 3 for $51. Giants bring Darius Slayton back, 3 for $36. $36 million for Darius Slayton. Yikes. Look out. The Cowboys bring back kick returner Kevontae Turpin, 3 years, $18 million for him. The Niners release Kyle Juszczyk and Leonard Floyd. So the Niners are stripping it. To get rid of a lot of money, a lot of contracts. Down to the Bolts. What a shame. What a shame. Packers running back A.J. Dillon is cleared to return. He missed the entire 2024 season with a neck injury. He'll be back with the Packers. The Steelers are in line to get compensatory draft picks in 2026, a 3rd rounder for Moore, a 4th rounder for Fields, a 6th rounder for Dante Jackson, loading up in next year's draft.
That really is smart when you think about it, that they're just getting free draft picks left and right.
Yeah, let those guys go. And look at this, the Steeler Super Bowl odds after getting DK Metcalf. Look at that, from 80 to 1 to 50 to 1, and the money's been pouring in on the Steelers. They don't even have a quarterback yet, and the money's pouring in on the Steelers to win the Super Bowl.
Woo, let's go.
Everybody's excited.
Go. Here we go, Steelers.
They're very excited for the Steelers season. There you go. Anything else happens in the NFL, of course, we'll let you know while we're on. And anything could happen at any time. Maybe the Steelers will get a quarterback, but they probably won't because they're waiting for the Jets to officially release Rodgers tomorrow.
Wait till tomorrow. But I bet they secretly have a deal done with Aaron Rodgers.
A little handshake, wink, wink, knock, knock, that they are going to sign Aaron Rodgers tomorrow, most likely. All right, we'll come back. I'll give you all the college rack for tonight and some stuff from last night.
which is a great place to be. Are you in the locker room? Like, you giving like the Any Given Sunday inches Al Pacino speech? Are we there yet?
Oh yeah, I think we've been there. We're gonna have a long talk with Rob today about the 99-199 issue from last week. Like, I just don't get how he is still employed. We gotta talk to ownership about that one.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Possible that while every other state is trying to copy New York and get that 51% tax on sports betting, is it possible that New York will actually lower their taxes? That's surprising.
The question is, of course, well, what sports books could go there? I mean, we're already at 9 that are the biggest ones out there in the market. So, I mean, who are you really missing?
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Remember when everyone was upset about NIL? You know what NIL did? Make sure Cooper Flagg wasn't playing with the G League Ignite. That's good for us. That's good for college basketball. When the best players are actually playing college basketball.
You're going to get battle tested. And it doesn't matter, Kevin, if you're at home or on the road. If you don't come ready to play in the SEC, you're going home with an L.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, we're talking about last night's college basketball, and it was crazy. I hit a couple of those big ones that I just went crazy watching these games. Like, I was on that Charleston game, the Delaware game, as you know, and the Troy game with the upset of Arkansas State.
Yeah, we had a couple of tickets punched last night. Troy was one of those. They win the Sun Belt 94-81. They beat Arkansas State in that game in Pensacola. Wofford beat Furman 92-85 to win the ASUN. That was particularly disappointing to me, as I was on Furman last night and was hoping that they were going to win that game. So that was unfortunate.
Getting involved.
Terriers will be in the big dance next week when the bracket comes out on Sunday. Horizon semis, both games were great. Bobby Moe rallied to get to overtime and then beat Oakland in overtime, 79-76. Youngstown State, the Penguins, with the win over the Vikings of Cleveland State, 56-50. Wasn't pretty at times, but the Penguins were able to get it done in that one. I'll give you the numbers for that championship game, which is coming up tonight. Also championship tonight in the, I guess it's the Coastal Athletic Association now. I guess they had to stop calling it the Colonial. Now it's the Coastal Athletic Association. The CAA.
Wait a minute. Does Colonial offend people like the Crusaders does?
They changed the name from the CAA used to be the Colonial Athletic Association. Now it's the Coastal. I don't know if that's because of someone got upset or that's because they started adding teams all the way up they are Stony Brook and all these other places. That's for sure. All right, Delaware beat Townsend 82-72. You mentioned this at the top of the show. Delaware lost 11 of their last 12 games in the regular season. They finished 12-19. They've now won 4 games in 4 days, and they're playing a 5th game in 5 days tonight against UNC Wilmington, who won a nail-biter over Charleston. But I had Charleston in that 4.5 last night, so that was what mattered to me.
Just give me a cover.
Right. Give me the cover. And both of the huge dogs covered in the West Coast Conference. Gonzaga beat the Dons, but only by 9. And St. Mary's beat Pepperdine, but only by 15.
I had them both winning, but didn't cover either one of them. It was a complete, utter failure.
Very unfortunate indeed, sometimes. All right, here we go. The most bet teams favorites to win the national championship. I have this for you as well. Let's get some of this stuff rolling here this morning. Of course, you know who's going to be at the top of this list, Scotty, and that is Auburn and Duke. Auburn plus 325, Duke plus 350. Florida now the third choice at 6-1. The tickets are Duke, Auburn, and Michigan State. The money, Duke, Florida, and Houston right now for the national title.
Yeah, listen, I still have this feeling about defensive teams. So Duke, Houston, St. John's for me, and Michigan State. And, Michigan State has, with their defense and physicality, has beaten more quad one teams than anyone in the country. So they're legit to me. And, as far as full press, St. John's is unequaled. I mean, they're end-to-end for the entire 40 minutes. They're a problem. If you think about some of the greatest teams that ever played in the NCAA tournament, you think of 40 minutes of hell, right? With the Cougs. I'm telling you that these teams that can play 40 minutes of defense like that it's just brutal to try to beat them. I mean, you can't even get the ball up court, let alone get a good look. And you don't get rebounds either. And you get your shot swatted. They play full on defense the whole game. And everyone cries about they can't shoot. They can't shoot from three. All this other nonsense. How do they win every game they play? With defense. Everything they get is predicated off defense. So to me, they're just super dangerous.
Super dangerous indeed. Cooper Flagg named the ACC Player of the Year and the ACC Rookie of the Year. Both honors for Cooper Flagg. He should win everything because he was the best player in college basketball this year. That's just how it goes. Davion Smith of St. John's going to try to practice today. He may play Thursday at the Big East Tournament. He did not play Saturday against Marquette. So we'll see if they can get Smith out there for those games this week. I say next week is more important than this.
That's all
week.
that matters.
That's really what matters.
If they don't win the Big East, which a lot of people think they're just going to win the Big East and beat Creighton, and then they're going to beat UConn 3 times, they're going to beat Marquette 3 times. I have my reservations about that. All that matters for that team, in my view, and I know they won it, the Big East at the Garden, but all that really matters is the NCAA tournament.
That is all that matters. As much as they want to do that this week, as you say, that is not what it's all about. All right, I got a lot of games tonight. Why don't we start with this one, which is kind of the main event, is this WCC championship game. Gonzaga and St. Mary's at the Orleans in Vegas. This one, minus 3.5 for the Zags. 137.5 the total. Now, St. Mary's beat them both times in the regular season. They were both close games, 62-58 at their place, and they won at Gonzaga 74-67, 7-point game. So they're looking for the sweep. We talked about this with St. John's yesterday in the Big East. Tough to beat a team 3 times in a season. St. Mary's looking to do that.
Well, I agree it's tough to beat a team 3 times, but I can take that 3.5 points and don't give a rat's ass if they win or not.
You could always do that too. I kind of like where Gabe was going with you. I think we're going to get some points here tonight. Up and away, and I'll take the points with St. Mary's too. And we'll go with them with that 3.5 and see if they can play another close one and maybe even take 3 in a row from them. All right, we'll come back. I've got all the games for tonight. We have a few Big 12 games, an ACC game, some championship games in the CAA and the Horizon, some late night games in the Big Sky that we're going to get to. So a ton of games that we're going to have this evening before it really starts to open up. I was looking just before. There's a ton of afternoon games tomorrow. Like 3 times what we have today we're going to have tomorrow.
Good, because the ACC and Big 12 games today suck.
Looking for an edge in betting basketball? Injuries can make or break a game. Get insider knowledge from Dr. David Chow and the team of experts with Sick Picks at Sports Injury Central. We reveal hidden health-based advantages the sports books miss. Our doctors provide insights, and our algorithm tells you who to bet on. Spreads, props, totals, in-game bets, Sick Picks covers it all. Go to SickScore.com and sign up for Sick Picks and use the promo code SportsGrid for a free week today.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, so you got all these great games going on. So Colorado's playing TCU right now. It's 29-28 Buffs at the start of the second half, a minute in. Now, where do you want to go with the rest of these games tonight?
All right, why don't we start with the other first-round games in the Big 12 and the ACC that we are going to have this evening. Of course, you know also Cal and Vatech is going to start. Cal's -4.5 in that, by the way. That's going to tip off any moment now here in that second game of the day. So I kind of like Vatech, honestly, Scotty, with that 4.5. Now that that's creeped up a little bit from yesterday.
How is Cal the 15 and Vatech's the 10, and they both have the same crappy 13 and 18 record? They're both horrible.
I think that they did a little bit more in the conference for them. Yeah, Vatech went they went 8-12 in the conference. Cal went 6-14 in the conference. So they were 2 games better than them in ACC play, which is what gets you that number there. But Cal's the favorite. I like Vatech. I'm going to go with them. Syracuse, Florida State is the night game. FSU -17.5. There, and then in the
what?
Two big.
Wait. What did you just say? So, can't. So, but no, you just said 17.5. What are you talking about?
3.5 for that game. 149.5 the total.
The Florida State game's 3.5 against Syracuse, correct?
Yes.
All right,
3.5 for Florida
State. I like
State.
Florida State there.
Florida State for that one. And then the Big 12 you will have this evening as well. 2 more games in that. Arizona State getting now 6.5 against Kansas State. So that one's moved a point. And then in the night game, UCF and Utah. Utah -2.5 and a real big total now, 157.5 for that game.
Well, so they played them and beat them by 12. And I think that's they played them at Arizona State and beat them by 1. So they're laying 6.5. I think Arizona State's awful. And I bet everyone and their brother is going to bet on Kansas State and get burned. So I'll take the 6.5 points. I think they beat them by 1 at Tempe. They beat them by 12 at home. Well, they're not at home anymore, so I'm going to split it down the middle and say 6. And if you're giving me 6 and a hook, I bet they cover by the hook.
There you go. Next, we have a championship game in the NEC tonight. And now this is at Central Connecticut's place. They do not do neutral floor for the NEC. So it's on their home gym. They're playing 10.5 against St. Francis of PA. They smashed them both times that they played in the regular season. They're looking for the sweep and a ticket to the dance. And then you have the America East semis tonight. Also, these games on the home floor of the better team. So Maine is at Vermont. Catamounts minus 4.5. Albany visits Bryant. Big number there, 10.5.
Yeah, I want to start with this Central Connecticut team. So they barely beat FDU by 4 in overtime. But when they played St. Francis, 83-67, and then 74-59, killed them twice, but barely beat FDU, Fairleigh Dickinson from Teaneck, beat them by 4. So do you think they're going to cover 10.5 in a title game? I bet they don't.
Judging by what I've seen the last 2 days here, and I know I'm going to feel differently about this Delaware game that's coming up next, but I think with St. Francis, PA, I'm willing to go out on the edge there with the big number.
I watched them. They played Mike in New Brighton the other night and barely won. So they had the whole crowd, and they're the best team in the conference, and they're kicking ass all year. They're just incredible. And then they play Fairleigh Dickinson and have to go to overtime and beat them by 4 in front of your home fans. They barely beat them. Now you're playing a title game. What does St. Francis have to lose? Give me the 10 and the hook.
Next, CAA title game tonight, as we mentioned, Delaware and UNC Wilmington. Wilmington laying the 9.5 in this game. 149.5 is the total. And you want to talk about what they did in the regular season. Wilmington beat them last week. This was about a week and a half ago, March 1st. They beat them by 30 about 10 days ago. They took them to the cleaners. And last month, they beat them by 10 at Delaware. We'll get your thought. When we come back, we'll finish that.
All right, we'll come back.
Which is a great place to be. Are you in the locker room? Like, you giving the Any Given Sunday inches Al Pacino speech? Are we there yet?
Oh yeah, I think we've been there. We're gonna have a long talk with Rob today about the 99-199 issue from last week. I just don't get how he is still employed. We gotta talk to ownership about that one.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Possible that while every other state is trying to copy New York and get that 51% tax on sports betting, is it possible that New York will actually lower their taxes? That's surprising.
The question is, of course, what sports books could go there. I mean, we're already at 9 that are the biggest ones out there in the market. So, I mean, who are you really missing?
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Remember when everyone was upset about NIL? You know what NIL did? Make sure Cooper Flag wasn't playing with the G League Ignite. That's good for us. That's good for college basketball. When the best players are actually playing college basketball.
You're going to get battle tested. And it doesn't matter, Kevin, if you're at home or on the road. If you don't come ready to play in the SEC, you're going home with an L.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
honest to God, I have never seen anything. So, is there anyone that hated the media more than Jim Boeheim? I mean, honestly. I mean, this guy, he loathed the media, just absolutely despised the media. And now he's calling the game in the ACC. He's doing the game. He's the analyst. I have seen there isn't a guy in sports that doesn't end up behind the mic, even if they sucked as a player or as a coach. They all end up doing it. It's amazing to me. It really is. It's baffling. How do you give a guy a mic? I don't. He was a great coach, but how do you give a guy a mic that could? I mean, he took a dump on the media every chance he got. This guy literally shacked all over the media his entire career. All he did was fight and argue with him. Now he's acting like he's one of them. What a phony ass B. All right, take me back to, and I mean it. I never liked him. I told him that to his face one day at SNY TV. I go, "You're nothing. Bob Knight owns you." And he was ready to. I think if he had a gun, he would have shot me. I said it right to his face. You can't coach like Bob Knight. And I go, you wouldn't have won that title without Melo. And they dragged me out of the green room. They're like, you can't talk that way to Coach Boeheim. I'm like, well, then fire me. And then they did. So anyway, here's the deal. I want to go back to the Bryant game and the Catamount game. Can I give you those two right off the bat? Albany will cover 11, and Maine will cover 4.5. They both, every time they played each other, I mean, Albany beat them at Bryant. And then they lost to them by 10. Now you're giving me 11? That game's going to be a great game. And then when Vermont beat them twice, no more than 5 both times. It was 3 and 5. Now you're giving me 4.5? Oh, isn't that somewhere in the middle? Give me the middle. Give me that 4.5. I got Maine and Albany. And I know I'm crazy, but we've established that long ago.
We certainly have. That brings us back now to this Delaware-Wilmington game with Wilmington minus 9.5 in the CAA title game.
It's got to be the Hens. It's got to be the Hens.
I can't do it.
I got to go with Delaware. I got to. How do you back off of Delaware? Now, listen, the other thing about Delaware, let's be clear here, folks. No state tax. You always got to bet on these teams from these no state tax states. It's just, that's why all these players play and they might as well get a pro team down there in Lewis, Delaware. They got to have right by Rehoboth Beach. You know, that's where the old president lived. You got to get a pro team down there so they don't have to pay taxes. And how do the Blue Hens, the worst team in America, they lost 11 of their last 12. How in God's name are they playing in this game tonight? Somewhere, somehow, someone has blessed them. God is rooting for the Hens. Plus, they have a lot of roadside, like tomatoes and corn. You can get fresh onions, everything, squash right on the side of the road. No state tax. Give me the Blue Hens tonight with the 8 and a hook. If Wilmington with their 26 wins is so damn good, how come the spread isn't 13 or 14 in this game? It's because the sports books are afraid of the Hens.
I love a good Cinderella. I really do. I love rooting for teams like this that are under 500, trying to get in the tournament. But
give me 9. It's up to 9.
It's 9.5 now. I'm seeing 9.5 for the game up there.
9 and a hook. 9 and a hook.
I'm laying
no state tax.
I think that the Delaware bus, the tire goes flat tonight, and I think Wilmington's gonna.
You just
smash
constantly
it.
have to
sorry.
ruin the party.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I think we're gonna be together on the next one, though.
Didn't they? They kept winning.
They kept winning. This one we're probably gonna be together though. The Horizon title game in Indy tonight. Youngstown State, the Penguins, against Bobby Moe, who's minus 3.5 with a 135.5. The great run for Bobby Moe all the way to the NCAA tournament with a win tonight, and they covered a 3.5.
It just really – so they beat them by 2 in Youngstown, and then they beat the crap out of them at home. So I got to go Bobby Moe. I took Youngstown yesterday and covered with the 2 and a hook. I'm going to go back to the Pittsburgh boys. Bobby Moe. I grew up, and Bobby Moe and Duquesne was always awful. Now I'm an old man, and they're both great. I mean, Duquesne's not bad in hoops anymore. They used to be awful. I mean, I used to be able to walk into that gym and you didn't even need a ticket. They'd just let you in to sit there so they'd have a crowd.
Bobby Moe, baby. Yeah, listen, Bobby Moe. Remember, they made a lot of tournaments back when they were in that NEC. They won that NEC tournament a bunch of times. Now they've moved up to the Horizons, taken them a few years. Now they got a chance to get the auto bid out of the Horizon. So nice job. That coach there, Toole's done a great job. He never left for a bigger job either. All right, here's the rest of the stuff for this evening. You have semifinals in the semifinals in the Big Sky and the Southland for us tonight. Montana State and Northern Colorado in the first game. Of course, they're playing these games in Boise is where they have this tournament. And then Idaho and Montana in the second game with the Grizzlies laying it there. And then in the Southland, Nichols and Lamar playing in one game, and that McNeese State with Will Wade, who's been just tearing through everybody, they are in the first game of the night against Northwestern State.
Okay, well, let's start with Northern Colorado. They are flat out better than Montana State. They've had a great year. I like Northern Colorado from Greeley, Colorado, and I've actually been on the campus at Northern Colorado, and believe me, they smoke at that school. They mean business. Idaho and Montana, it's got to be the Grizzlies. It's got to be the Grizzlies. McNeese and Northwestern State, are you kidding me? I got to lay that many points. Now, I just want to look at what they did against them when they played them, right? They beat them by 15, and they beat them by they beat the crap out of them both times they played them. All the more reason to take the 16.5 with Northwestern State. All these automatic, lay the fat wood. Good luck. It's a, championship tournament. It's like Mike DeCourcy said, how in God's name do you lay that kind of wood? And then Nichols and Lamar. Oh, my God, what a game that's going to be as well. When is that one tipping off? I got to see this right here. Lamar.
Late night.
Look, I like Nichols State. Remember, we used to have a guy, Mafia and I, that we worked with at Howard Stern. Remember our boy, Steve Nichols. Nichols State. And anytime I got a chance to bet on Nichols State, I get it done and get involved. Give me nickels, baby. Everybody needs a couple nickels in their pocket to rub together. Check out.
There are a couple of other stragglers if you're interested.
Stragglers.
You've got a couple Conference USA games, Sam Houston and UTEP, and then who's this game? FIU and Western Kentucky.
He's going to spank FIU.
There's a MAC games in Atlantic City, Fairfield, Sacred Heart, and Siena and Ryder playing down at the Boardwalk Hall. As the MAC gets going tonight.
Fairfield in the 4.5 against Sacred Heart. Nobody has a Sacred Heart anywhere. How about your boys? Siena, give me the 4.5 against Ryder. How does that sound? And then I like
Utah Tech.
What is it? Southern isn't it Southern Utah? Give me Southern Utah and 4.5 against Utah Tech. I don't trust them as far as you can spit. And then the last game, I think. We gave you that Western Kentucky. Oh, here it is. I like Florida A&M over Prairie View. Prairie View is flat out awful. I'll even lay the 7 and get involved.
Speaking of flat out awful, TCU is getting absolutely smashed by Colorado here in the second half of this Big 12
I got
tournament
the game
game.
on. I got it on the phone right here. Look, I got it going right there. You see the action? I got action.
Which is a great place to be. Are you in the locker room? Like you giving the Any Given Sunday Inches Al Pacino speech? Are we there yet?
Oh yeah, I think we've been there. we're gonna have a long talk with Rob today about the 99-199 issue from last week. Like I just don't get how he is still employed. We gotta talk to ownership about that one.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Possible that while every other state is trying to copy New York and get that 51% tax on sports betting, is it possible that New York will actually lower their taxes? That's surprising.
The question is, of course, what sports books could go there. I mean, we're already at 9 that are the biggest ones out there in the market. So, I mean, who are you really missing?
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Remember when everyone was upset about NIL? You know what NIL did? Make sure Cooper Flag wasn't playing with the G League Ignite. That's good for us. That's good for college basketball. When the best players are actually playing college basketball.
You're going to get battle tested. And it doesn't matter, Kevin, if you're on the home, at home or on the road. If you don't come ready to play in the SEC, you're going home with an L.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, so honestly, TCU's getting run out of the building. I think it's what is it like? Isn't it? It's 50-36. That's how bad it's gotten at in that game. And I told you, I'm watching the game right now. So I told you that TCU is just as bad as Colorado. I mean, like, the fact that they were favored in this game is hilarious. All right, we go to the NBA because there was a lot happening last night, and there's a lot happening tonight, per usual.
There is a lot happening tonight and a lot last night. We'll start with this one. Nuggets beat the Thunder 140-127, so they get back after losing to them on Sunday afternoon. They played 2 days in a row, both there in OKC. Joker was at it again, 35 points, 18 boards, 8 dimes, including this one late to Russell Westbrook, who was having fun in his own
Brody
on altitude.
Got one-on-one coverage with Hartenstein. Westbrook got it again! Westbrook!
How about, listen, how many times are we going to have this conversation? Those are the two most dangerous teams, and I want to see them play a 7-game series in the playoffs. Because, you know, just the night before, the Thunder spanked them. I mean, what was it, 127, 103 or something? It was that bad. And then we went on the show yesterday and said, I took Denver. I said, they're going to get even with them tonight in Oak City, right on their home floor, because they are capable of beating this team with Joker, Porter, Gordon, Murray, Brown. They are legit. And everyone just wants to hand it to the Lakers that they're going to the Western Final. And, you know, now LeBron's injured, and God only knows what will happen between now and the start of the playoffs. But, you know, Mike, for me, these are the two teams I want to see play each other in the Western Final. I think they're the two best teams. I really do.
No doubt about that. Here's Michael Malone before we move on. Of course, the Joker, he's been putting in a lot of work lately. Malone went to him before the game and said, how about we give you a night off, back-to-back, playing the Thunder, whatever. And Joker said, you got to be kidding me. Here's Malone.
And he won't tell you this, so I will. You know, I hit him up yesterday after the game, you know, trying to bring up a conversation about maybe we take tomorrow's game off. You know, and I gave him the minutes, 45 minutes, 41 minutes, 39 minutes, 38 minutes, with a really bad ankle and an elbow. So, you know, this is not a rest game. This guy is beat up with 18 games to go. And what I love about Nikola, he was like, hell no. Come on, man, coach, I'm playing. That's not even a
Someone wants to
conversation.
play?
Am I tired? Sure, everybody's tired. Am I a little beat up? Sure, everybody's a little beat up. But I want to play. And I think part of that was also we lost, and he wanted to lead this team and find a way to come in here and get a win today. And to go 15 of 20, obviously the 18 rebounds and the 8 assists and the block and the steal, the guy is just incredible. So, as I say all the time, man, very thankful that he's in a Nuggets uniform because you're watching greatness every single night.
Most guys, seriously, like, I don't want to get up at 5 in the morning, but I do because I want a ball. And most guys that love playing and love the game, they want a ball every chance they get, even if they're tweaked. I know a guy playing right now with a bad ankle, and he's like, I play with it every day. It's just always sore. It's always a problem. And I just keep playing, and people play through everything. I remember playing through double fasciitis, both feet, just bone spurs, agony, corns, agony. You just keep playing because you love the game. And then there's guys that never want to play because they're prima donna candy asses. The guys that never play back-to-back are in the prima donna candy ass club. Like this guy, you heard him. He's broken down. He's got all kinds of injuries and problems. Ankle, elbow. He's playing 40-plus minutes every night, and he still wants to go play. Meanwhile, he doesn't even like playing. So don't tell me that dude doesn't love ball, because people say, and we say it too, oh, he likes the ponies better than he likes basketball. I think that's a lot of bullshit. He just won't admit he loves balling. That pretty much said it all right there, didn't it?
Yep. SGA now averaging 32.9 points per game. He scored over 2,000 points this season. He's having a hell of a year, as those two guys are obviously in the mix for the MVP. Elsewhere, first game without LeBron for the Lakers didn't go well. 111-108, they lose in Brooklyn to the Nets. Here's J.J. Redick. He was pretty honest with his assessment of this team's play.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think being shorthanded is an excuse for how we played basketball tonight.
JJ, you guys shot 2 free throws in the first half. A lot of griping from your players. Do you think that took them out of any sort of rhythm?
No, I think it was just an overall mentality just to take shortcuts tonight. We just wanted to take shortcuts. Too many. They scored 20 points on us gambling. They had 16 offensive rebounds. We ball watched all night. We said no dare shots. I'll go through it. They probably made 6, 7 uncontested threes. Just shortcuts. You want to be a good team, you want to win in the NBA, you got to do the hard stuff. We couldn't even pass to each other. We couldn't enter our offense. Running ball screens literally at half court. Yeah, that's going to end up in a turnover. I don't know what we're doing.
So what's great about him is that he was like one of the biggest Ds ever playing. And now he's becoming one of the biggest Ds as a coach because he loves to talk and just throw everyone under the bus when they don't play well. And he just comes right out and says it, just like when he played. When he played, he talked smack. Everyone wanted to kill him, but he was a great player. I mean, in college. Like in college, he was such a D. Everyone wanted to kill him. In the pros, he's too easy to kill in the pros. He's too small. But he could shoot. That was his job, to shoot and then to talk smack. And then now he gets to talk smack every night because he gets his own press conference after every game, and he just lets it all flow right out of his mouth. He'll call you right out and say you suck.
We'll, if you want, we could do some Crybaby Luka when we come back.
I do want to do Crybaby.
Crybaby Luka. And then we'll finish last night, and then we'll, after you talk to Coach, we'll do all the games for night. Not a lot of games on a Tuesday night.
Only 4.
In the NBA. Only 4 games, but we have a lot of hockey tonight. A lot of hockey.
Everybody loves hockey.
Everybody does love hockey. 56-48, Colorado. TCU trying to cut into it a little bit here, but they're giving up too many baskets. Can't get any stops.
They were down 14. Now it's 8.
Which is a great place to be. Are you in the locker room? Like, you giving like the Any Given Sunday inches Al Pacino speech? Are we there yet?
Oh yeah, I think we've been there. We're gonna have a long talk with Rob today about the 99-199 issue from last week. Like I just don't get how he is still employed. We got to talk to ownership about that one.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Possible that while every other state is trying to copy New York and get that 51% tax on sports betting, is it possible that New York will actually lower their taxes? That's surprising.
The question is, of course, well, what sports books could go there? I mean, we're already at 9 that are the biggest ones out there in the market. So, I mean, who are you really missing?
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Remember when everyone was upset about NIL? You know what NIL did? Make sure Cooper Flagg wasn't playing with the G League Ignite. That's good for us. That's good for college basketball. When the best players are actually playing college basketball.
You're going to get battle tested. And it doesn't matter, Kevin, if you're at home or on the road. If you don't come ready to play in the SEC, you're going home with an L.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, so I want to hear Whiny Crybaby B after the game and no sleep till last night.
This was probably the most he's cried since he's been with the Lakers. And I like the beginning of this clip was when the guy starts asking him the question, you could just see Luka just getting visibly upset. Here we go.
Luka, you guys as a team shot only 2 free throws in the first half. It seemed like
Puts the hand
everybody
up.
on the court was pretty frustrated. Do you feel like that kind of dispirited you guys as a group? Did it take you out of what you wanted to do as a team? And just in terms of kind of the overall sort of offensive spirit?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it was a lot. I think it wasn't fair. But, you know, I just got to play the game. I got to keep playing the game, but it was a lot, man. I ain't gonna lie.
Whatever.
It was a lot, man. I'm not gonna lie.
When doesn't he complain on a court? I mean, it's the entire game, every game. It doesn't matter if he plays in Dallas or LA. He's still the same whining. It's the refs' fault. Everything. Listen, we all know that refs are terrorists and that they ruin everything: holidays, weddings, marriages, families, games, dinners, parties. They ruin everything. Refs ruin everything. It's their fault. Blame the refs for every problem in the world. Tariffs. You blame refs.
Yeah, that's what you have to do sometimes. It's their fault. Warriors beat Portland 130-120. Jimmy Butler, first Warrior triple-double, not just for himself as a Warrior, but the first Warrior triple-double this season. He had it. So Jimmy
Blazers
Butler.
covered. That's all that matters.
Blazers did cover. Warriors 12-1 with Butler now. They continue to roll. The Knicks getting back involved on the West Coast trip after a couple of losses in Los Angeles. To start the trip, they found themselves some good fortune in Sacramento last night. OG Anunoby getting involved on MSG.
Levine, DeRozan stolen by Anunoby. Bridges picks up the loose ball. Bridges down the lane, back to Anunoby. His three-pointer, it's good. OG Anunoby, both ends of the floor again.
So, and Deuce had it going last night as well. Cat Towns, Anunoby, they all had big games.
Hawks beat the Sixers 132-123. Celtics beat the Jazz. Nice job by you. You took the big wood with the Jazz last night.
Covered.
And they ended up covering. Now, Tatum didn't play, a few other guys. Last week, it was Derek White and Peyton Pritchard with the 10 threes and the 9 threes. Last night for the Celtics, Sam Hauser with 9 threes. Are you kidding me? NBC Sports Boston.
Steal by Holiday. Brown got a hand on it. Hauser. Dagger.
Have you ever thought about, like, you're running an NBA team in 2025 that maybe the key to playing basketball now is to find guys that can do the only thing that matters, nothing but shoot threes, that they can knock down shots from anywhere consistently that are like legit deep ball shooters, because that's all this team is. I know people say they do a lot more than that. No, they don't. They just move the ball and shoot threes and they blow people out. That's what they do. And then they got the bigs that can do the dirty work inside. Even that Cornette guy, no one can stop him. He dunks, putbacks, block shots, does everything, alley-oops, you name it, he does it all. And the same thing is like, your boy, white boy Rick in Oak City, does it all. Block shot, rebounds, both ends, defense, offensive glass, shoots the best teardrop lob in the league. The floater is teardrop. It's unbelievable. But if you're a GM nowadays, just find guys that can shoot threes and you can win in this league. That's because the league's all about shooting threes.
That's what it is. The Zinger hasn't been playing. He's dealing with a viral illness. The Zinger. He hasn't been able to get out there.
Plays. But when he does whatever he wants.
He does. Hornets beat the Heat last night. Nice job by Miami. Raptors beat the Wizards. Bulls beat the Pacers. Josh Giddey, in his last 9 games, I mean, Giddey been going off. 27, 16, and 4, 24, 8, and 10, 25, 16, and 6, 21, 8, and 12, 18, 9, and 7, 26, 10, and 12. Are we getting the point? Are we getting the point here about what Giddey's been doing with
your boy?
Yes, with them. Rockets beat the Magic, and the Grizzlies beat the Suns. Did you like that kid, Cam Spencer, giving KD the business after hitting that three?
Little white boy talking smack.
Philadelphia 76ers, they tried to play 2 different things. They tried to play contender, and they tried to play protect Joel Embiid. It wasn't doing Joel Embiid any good. This goes back to what I've talked about numerous times on this network. Why did they let him play in the first place? Why was he on the Olympic team? I mean, we looked at it last year in the playoffs against the Knicks. The damn kid was on one leg.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The 2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him
rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network.